everyone, my name is Emily Teubner. I'm the R&B Soul Director at WRSU FM New Brunswick, and I'm here with the band Couch. I'm so excited to be talking to them today. I've been a big fan since the beginning, and yeah, we can just have everyone introduce themselves and where they're located and what you guys are doing in the band. So whoever wants to get started with that can go.
I'll kick us off. I'm Danny. I'm located in Providence, Rhode Island currently, and I play keys for Couch.
Hello, my name is Eric. I am in Framingham, Massachusetts, and I play saxophone, sing some background vocals, do a little production. Yeah.
Hey, I'm Jeffrey. I play the trumpet and on occasion other brass instruments, and I'm currently located in Rochester, New York.
Hi, I'm Jared. I'm from Long Island, New York, basically the odd one out because everyone else is from the Boston area. But I am currently in Washington, D.C., and I'm the drummer.
Hi, I'm Tema. I sing and do some songwriting, and I'm in Chicago, Illinois.
Hey everyone, my name is Will. I am currently located in Jeffersonville, New Hampshire. I'm at an Airbnb, and I play bass and do a little production stuff.
Hello, I'm Zach. I play guitar and some bass and production stuff, and I'm coming to you live and masked from Washington, D.C.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
It's nice to meet you all. We can get started with the questions. So I'm curious to know about the story of how Couch was formed, especially because of your long distance struggle with you all like being from different areas and going to different schools. Someone able to talk about like how you guys really began?
Sure. So a number of us were in a group together in high school. We either met through jazz bands, jazz programs, mutual friends, and we started a band. And at the end of high school, that band split up, but we had a song in the works, which was Couch's first single, the Nana song. So we got together a group of musicians. Originally, it was just a rotating group of people. We said, okay, on this song, some people will play. On this song, we may switch. But we ended up all really loving playing together and making music together. So with each song, the group solidified. And those are the people here today.
That's so good. Yay. So how has it been like navigating this decision that like you guys are going to be a band, even though you're not able to like fully be together to like get that creative process going? And then even during the pandemic to like making this EP a reality.
I can kick that off. So I think that we're pretty lucky that we were already accustomed to writing and just managing the band in general long distance. It prepared us for the circumstances under the pandemic. And that's always worked with just, Zach and I like wrote Easy to Love over FaceTime, and like I had lyrics and he had a guitar part, and we would play them for each other and then send each other voice memos to kind of like practice with and see how the song developed. So that's just been pretty standard for us as a songwriting practice. And we are aware of the fact that like if we were together writing songs in rehearsals and jam sessions and things, they might come about faster in different ways. But we're happy with what we've been able to do given the circumstances.
Yeah, that's so good. And you guys just released Black Bear Lane as that surprise single. And I know that you guys were like hinting on social media that it has to do with like being in Vermont. Can you tell me more about that story and like what is that song actually like really about?
I'll tell you that Black Bear Lane is the name of the street that Zach's grandparents' house is on in Vermont. And so basically, you know, the idea was coronavirus is so horrible for playing music generally, but how about a handful of us or as many as we can get just quarantined together in Vermont at Zach's grandparents' house for like 2 weeks or so. And so it ended up being myself, Zach, Eric, and Tema. And, you know, we had lots of fun on the trip, but in particular, we wrote this one song, Black Bear Lane, just completely inspired by our experience at the house in Vermont. And there are also there are some pretty interesting and also really funny things about the way this song was actually formed. I don't know if Zach wants to speak more to that in particular, but
Yeah, the story that I'm thinking about it, and definitely add stuff if you have other things on your mind. But Tema, Danny, and I were upstairs, and Eric was downstairs on the phone with his mom. And I showed them a voice memo of this little melody and guitar part, which was the foundation of the song. And we said, all right, let's just try to write a whole song before Eric can come back upstairs. He's on the phone with his mom talking about whatever. If he comes up when we have a whole song written, he'll just be rattled and it will be awesome. So we did our best and we wrote a few verses and tried to create a hook. Of course, Eric, being amazing and having great ideas, deconstructed a lot of parts and helped us make it better. But it was definitely a fun challenge to try to write a song in about 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. You would have never known. Like, it's so well done. And that's so cool.
Also, yeah, Emily, I'll also just add that personally, one of the challenges of being a long distance band is just building relationships with individual members that you have no reason of knowing prior. So like, luckily, whatever, I grew up with Zach at, in like Jewish youth programs, and I went to high school at Tema, but like, I still have yet to meet Jared in person, which is kind of a shocking fact. But for example, on the Vermont trip, like that was the first time I really spent a lot of time with Eric, and it was like, wow, like it felt more like this, I don't know, it just was like really important for me, and like how I, saw this band and in my role, and seeing like, wow, like this really is a band that when we're together, we can produce this beautiful music. Just a matter of finding time to actually do that. If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
It was also cool because that was like the first song that we had written in person with multiple people there. And it meant that it came together really quickly, and it was truly inspired by the circumstances. I mean, I remember like when Zach was like, let's try to finish this really fast. I was like, oh God, I gotta write lyrics really fast. And I typically labor over lyrics for months, like putting them on the back burner. So I was like looking around the room and I was like, there are wooden walls and there is a colorful light, and we listened to music in the evening, and like together, and it was just about our time there. But honestly, for me, it's one of the things that I've been most excited to release. I just think that I love the story behind it. Maybe it just resonates with me because it's an experience that I had, but it was definitely a unique process for us, songwriting wise, even though it's probably pretty standard for most bands.
Mm-hmm. You can feel like, even listening to it, not that like the listeners fully understand like the experience behind it, which is kind of like the beauty of it, because you guys share that by yourself, but then we can still see like how intimate and how important that is. So very well done. Yes. And then so as more like releases have come out with you guys, like Fall Into Place and Black Bear Lane most recently, your sound has definitely been evolving and growing and changing. So can you tell me more about like how that has happened for you guys? Like, what are your influences and how are you growing with your sound?
Wait, can I ask you a quick question before we answer it? How have you like, in what ways do you think our sound is changing? Because I agree with you. Like, I do think there was a shift kind of after Easy to Love, but I'm curious as to like what you're picking up on, what you're hearing.
Okay. So not that it was like simple before, like conjunction junction, like all of that. Like it's a huge arrangement and there's like so much to it, but like I feel like there's a lot more heart in the recent releases than there was in the first like 3 singles. And it's funny because even though you guys aren't like fully together, you sound more cohesive, and like I'm sure it also has to do with just like getting more comfortable with each other as a band and like communicating like and mixing it and like all the production stuff. But aside from that, like it feels like, not that it sounded like a jam sesh before, but like it feels more like a band with every release. Like you guys, your sound is coming together more. Yeah. What were you, Zach?
Conjunction Junction because nobody listens to that.
That's the forgotten child.
But yeah, that's how I feel like you guys have grown. But now, what's your take on it, I guess?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, one thing you said how like we do sound, I'll just say like tighter now than we did in our first releases, and I think a lot of that is due to like I think we are just getting better at one, like playing with each other, two, like songwriting and creating like ideas, and three, also like producing and doing all this stuff. Like with every release, we've become more independent. Like for example, the Nana song was recorded at a studio that one of our friends runs and maintains, and then for like our later releases, like Conjunction Junction, we did most of the production ourselves on, but we still had we still went back to like that original studio to do some tracking and stuff, and then every release we do more production ourselves. And as you'll probably hear, like the EP, and by the time that we got to Black Bear Lane and Fall Into Place, almost everything except for like final mixing and mastering was done by us. So yeah, I think that's part of it, and our techniques are just improving as we do more releases and just do more stuff.
Yeah.
I'll add that I definitely think there are a few clear like sonic shifts too from Fall Into Place, in addition to just general tightness in production. One of them is a couple of synthesizer sounds that are in every song on the EP, which is going to come out later this month. It's like a little nugget there for people who like really want to listen closely. It's a couple of synths that Zach and I sort of like we were messing around with different electronic sounds on Fall Into Place, and I just saved them as presets in Logic on my computer, and then I just kind of like we just use them for everything in the same sorts of scenarios to try to really like create a cohesive like identity. So like one of them is kind of this bubbly like glittery thing that plays a lot of fast high notes whenever we want to make a huge buildup. There's also kind of like a ballpark style organy saw synthesizer that just has really powerful chords. And so if you listen closely on the EP, you'll hear sort of the same sounds showing up again and again that weren't there before Fall Into Place. Also, we've used, I think our vocal arrangements have changed. I like early on, and Easy to Love, all of the background vocals are Tema. In Fall Into Place, there are a bunch of us on it. In all the ones on the EP, there are multiple voices on it, and in more like octave unison and stuff. So I think we're kind of leaning into the like group, the energy that a group gang of vocals like adds, and using that to create new types of contrasts that we couldn't before.
After Eric mentioned octave unison, that's like one of my favorite musical elements, and so I just like said yes, I love octave unison.
Okay.
But no.
Danny, show her how you actually said yes.
So when I hear octave unison, like just in a song, or like if Eric, especially when Eric and Tema in octave unison, I often feel compelled to go yes or yes, something like that. And so that's what I did.
He's
that's
not
what I did.
The true level of enthusiasm that he says it with. Maybe I'll send you a sound bite at the end of the interview.
Wait, Tema, you said that wasn't with the usual level of enthusiasm?
No.
Yes. How about that? Yes.
Yeah, Danny started just doing that all the time when we were in Vermont for those couple weeks. Anytime you heard octave unison, you just hear it across the house. There's a lot.
Yeah, I will say though that because of the amount of like octave unison that like we sang when writing Blackberry Lane, like now one of my favorite things to do. I just got a text from my roommate saying, Danny, why are you barking? Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is that is that one of my favorite things to do now, listening back to the song, is to just sing, along with Tema, just an octave lower than she is. And in my opinion, it sounds really beautiful. And I think you all should try the same.
I know that you like mentioned that you're like adding those new elements, but are there any genre influences or like instruments that you guys haven't really experimented with or like have never even like considered bringing into Couch's sound that you guys would possibly ever like want to bring in?
Personally, I'm a tuba player, so I've been dying to play tuba on a few tracks. But personally, that's just an instrument that I want to bring in. But I don't know if many people agree with me on that one.
Bagpipes. I think we can definitely do some good stuff with bagpipes.
Oh yeah.
We brought in birds for Black Bear Lane. So
Mhm.
We hired a bunch of studio birds to come in
Oh yeah.
and record for us.
Big Bird, all of them, all the birds. So Couch has a really like supportive fan base, and they're very active on social media, from what I've seen. And there's like a few things regarding that I thought we could like dive into and talk about. First being when you guys were creating Fall Into Place, you like put out this post that was like, "We want your vocals on the track." Can you tell me like why you guys made that decision to like bring in more voices, and like how did that project go for you guys? Yeah.
I can take this one. So before I even mention involving people from Instagram and other people singing on it, the funny thing is that bridge almost didn't exist. We were pretty much done with Fall Into Place, and that bridge was entirely instrumental. We were going to have a slightly different horn build, and then we were just messing around at Eric's house one afternoon working on some synths. We started singing those la-las. Tama, Eric, and myself recorded vocals on it, and then we just said, let's blow this up. Let's get people involved. They'll be excited to listen and share it with people. We have a lot of really talented listeners. A lot of people are musicians who listen to our music, so we figured we'll share their voices on it and make it be more of a group effort.
I think also something that's really cool to note is, we have a lot of fun making the music, and especially we have a lot of fun listening to the music that we make. And, it's why not share that with the listener and get them as excited as we are about the music. And I think that's also something that's important to note.
Yeah. And I'm sure it worked. I know people that were like submitting to it and loved it. So you guys also recently did that cup pong tournament. I was supposed to get involved with it, but I ended up not being able to. Can you tell me how
You
that
missed out
went?
on a good time. That was a lot of fun. You missed out on a good time.
You guys got to do it again. I'll come through next time, definitely.
I also missed out because I'm an Android user, like a clown.
You deserve to miss out. I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that sounds like so much fun, and it's such a creative way to get your fan base involved. So yeah, how did that go?
For me personally, I slept through my first round match, so not too hot, but I think overall it was a great success. I think it was Zach's idea originally. He's a big cup pong fan, just like challenges people, and it's completely unexpected. Zach, do you want to talk about Jesse's involvement?
Sure. When we started releasing stickers about a year ago, someone said they didn't have the cash to Venmo us for a sticker at the time, but they would challenge me to a game of cup pong, and if they won, I would send them a sticker, and if they lost, I wouldn't. And she beat me in cup pong. We started playing back and forth, and together we crafted the idea of let's blow this up, make it a big thing, get as many people involved. And we ended up having 60 people involved. We had a final championship live viewing party. I wore a suit and had a microphone and announced it. It was absurd.
So much fun. Wow. You did that TikTok hashtag thing. That's going on right now. I've been seeing the submissions coming in. How is that going?
It's pretty sick. I don't think any of us expected as many people to do it. But we've had like upwards of 30 people posting on Instagram, and I think more, like maybe twice as much as that or something on TikTok. And it's so fun. I mean, I hear that solo and all I can think of is what Eric plays on it, and sometimes what Danny liked to scat over it. But when, with people sending in these videos, there's just completely different interpretations. It's awesome to hear instrumentalists solo over it, but it's also pretty fascinating. Like, a lot of people have been rapping or writing a verse, and to hear like the lyrics that they're inspired to write simply from hearing the instrumental and from maybe hearing, that one line, high above the clouds. And well, I'm not even singing the lyrics right. Up above the I'm forgetting how it goes. But it's so cool. So fun. Somebody else take over.
And it's really incredibly gratifying, as like someone who helped create this song, that now just so many people just want to engage with this song in the same way that I do. And it really just it's heartwarming. It actually is just, it's so beautiful to see all of these like entries and people doing the challenge. And it also does, similar to what Tom was saying, it does kind of make me like hear that section different ways often, especially once like you get some people rapping verses over it. So yeah, I am in love with this #BBL challenge.
Yeah, and also it's crazy seeing how like the song has spread to like various like instrumental groups on the internet. Like one of the first people who did the challenge was like Eric's saxophone teacher who played the flute, and Arturo Sandoval, who's like one of the greatest living trumpet players, commented on his video. And as like a trumpet player, I was like absolutely fangirling over that. And but it's just crazy how like these like really people that I see as influential just like saw our music through this challenge.
That's so
Yeah. I will also just want to add, Tema touched on this, but like seeing the topics that different people wrote lyrics about was really interesting. I do think that I've noticed sort of a common like general vibe theme to the lyrics of just like good positive energy, which is reassuring because sometimes when it's your music and you work on it so much, it's hard to get your head out of it and like get an objective perspective on how it actually makes new listeners feel. And so the fact that so many of the challenges, people who wrote lyrics, those lyrics are kind of in line with the general vibe of the song that we had in mind, even people who presumably haven't heard the full song. It's satisfying and yes, heartwarming.
It's also funny too, like somebody submitted a video of him just like, honestly, it sounded like the sound of like a kitchen sink garbage disposal, just like all the way through it in one breath. Or like someone submitted himself singing, what's that song? It's like do 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 do. Do you know what I'm talking about? He just like played it over Blackberry Lane.
The 21 Pilot song.
Yeah.
The Third Eye Blind song.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Never mind.
One of those bands, one of those like rock pop bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, just people also like fucking around and doing comedic things over it. And we want to do it again too. There's another song on the EP that has a sick horn solo that Danny wrote. But we're curious to see what people come up with over that as well, I think.
Yeah, especially if you're getting such a big response with this one. Why not continue that? Yeah. So speaking of the EP, which we keep talking about, but we haven't focused on quite yet today, February 26th, it comes out. I'm so excited. Can someone tell me like the process of creating this and like the challenges that arose like as you guys were creating this EP?
Yeah, so one of the biggest challenges that we faced was obviously being long distance. So there was a lot of times where we had to record on our own and then get feedback via FaceTime or notes that everyone put in later. So a lot of it was us sending around different sessions and different files for people to record their own stuff over, which was extremely useful because we are also independent when it comes to the recording process, that we were able to bang everything out very efficiently and under the right sort of means. So I think that was definitely the coolest part of it for me, just was watching everything it starts with someone playing their own instrument and then it goes full circle, then comes back, and all of a sudden you have a song. And it was a cool process to see.
Yeah. I'm sure like the Google Drive or whatever was just full, so many takes, and it can be complicated, but I'm so glad it's coming out. What can fans expect to hear on this? Like, how many tracks are there? Can you give us any insider information at all?
You mentioned, Emily, what can people listen for, there is a specific motif that people should listen for that I would love Danny to explain.
Yeah, no, totally. Thanks, Zach. There is a specific motif. And that is a motif that I guess I invented while in Vermont. This is a fun story. We were we were just kind of like jamming over Best Part by Daniel Caesar. Classic. And I felt compelled to sing the words "very nice" over the Best Part changes in a specific way with a specific melody. And the people liked it, I guess. I mean, the people like Zach, Tim, and Eric were like, oh, like I could be hip to this. And actually, that motif, I'll sing it for you, goes very nice. That will show up on the EP in a variety of instances, particularly with horn lines. And so I'm excited to hear that EP once it is out for everyone and to hear very nice over these songs. And I do think it's very nice. It's kind of like meta like that. You know what I mean? Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Join it with me. Very nice. Very nice. Like you hear it and it is very nice. But yeah, Zach, does that satisfy you?
Yeah, I was hoping you would sing it, and you did. So all is well.
Very nice.
I just as for like a general synopsis for the EP, one thing I'm particularly excited for is we bill ourselves as kind of like soul pop funk, but we've mostly done kind of mid down tempo, feel good, relaxed songs. And there are 2 songs on the project that are like definitely more on the upbeat side of things and like lean into that funk more, a little bit of like hip hop R&B influence. So I'm excited to have some music out that's like consciously, intentionally rousing, like danceable music. Because we already have a lot of just like feel good hanging out stuff. So I think this should balance out our discography well. And I think it's a pretty stylistically diverse EP too. I mean, hopefully it all sounds cohesive, but there's a big difference between like, the poppier tracks and the ones that are, a little bit more classic couch. So yeah, I think there should be something for everyone. Hopefully people like it.
I'm excited for people to hear Eric sing more. And Zach. Zach actually recorded some background vocals on a number of songs too.
I'm excited for that too. Yay.
Definitely every time I listen to the EP, I know Eric touched on this also. I mean, every time I listen to the full EP, which is a lot, and I think I'm definitely probably going to get like sick of it by the time it drops. No, that's very hard to do because I think people can be able to listen to this for a very, very long time. It really, musically and stylistically, it really just reaches such a broad styles and broad interests. So I think it's really going to be an EP for everyone, for every type of listener. And musically and lyrically, I think it tells a really, really nice story. And I think people are going to be able to listen to it many different times and pick up little things here and there. Because, as Eric said, I mean, it has the couchy hooks and everything that people that have listened to our previous 4 singles, hopefully like. But there'll also be a bunch of new different things that I think people are going to be really excited to hear, and hopefully they'll like it.
And also, like, we were talking about how we like send the track around to everyone, like that kind of stuff. And it's definitely one thing that I enjoy about the EP is that like every time you listen to a song, you'll catch something new. So, because like obviously I wasn't there for everyone tracking their own parts, and maybe someone had a cool idea that they threw into it. So I'll be like listening to the song and I'll be like, oh, I had no idea that was in there. So like, yeah, like literally every time I listen to it, I find something new and I'm in the band. So yeah.
Also thematically, like every song has a pretty optimistic message, and we do want to explore, or at least I personally as a writer would like to explore a wider variety of subjects as we go on and some more challenging things. But I feel like at this time, I'm really happy to be putting out such optimistic music, and I hope that people are hungry for that and excited to receive it as well. And just to have it be something that, well, not feeling overly happy and whatever. I hope it feels authentic and makes people feel better in a time that is very challenging.
On a side note, I guess this is more just out of curiosity, but how have you guys been staying busy like during this time, just like putting music kind of aside? Like how is quarantine for you guys? Like, have any of you picked up any new hobbies, any interests? Like, what's going on with Couch as people?
I hope when I say this, a ton of people go, yes, who are listening. I've watched all 40 seasons of the great CBS reality show Survivor. So for any Survivor fans out there, DM Couch if you want to talk some Jeff Probst with me.
Zach and I also watched at least one full season of Love Island in a very short period of time together. Lots of questionable TV choices that are quite enjoyable, for me at least. Also, I personally spent some time this quarantine producing podcasts, which was new for me, which was cool. But right now, I'm sort of trying to just do as much music as I can. But it's weird. It's a weird time to like be creative because the inspiration that comes from just social interactions and like going about your day normally, that we usually take for granted, it's devoid of any of that. So it's weird, but keep chugging along.
Eric, my girlfriend and I, and some of his and Eric's friends from Harvard, we've been having a fairly consistent Among Us group. The app, the new app Among Us. So that's been something that's been keeping us busy.
I've been playing a lot of basketball. My jumper's pretty wet.
I was just about to say the basketball one. Yeah, I've been playing a ton of basketball.
Me as well. I actually played basketball today because one of my friends shoveled the court that we play at in Providence. So I guess we got to do a Couch the Basketball game. The other thing I did is I watched all 3 Cars movies in one night over break. So
which one was your favorite?
Cars 1 is my favorite.
Definitely.
And is just good. So slept on in the Pixar universe, and I think is such a freaking good movie. And also Cars 2 and 3 I also seriously enjoyed, and I don't know why it gets so much hate.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Cars, but I did play a lot of basketball too. No, I did not. I did not play any basketball, but I have been like running, which is new. Yeah, went on some runs and have been reading way more for pleasure than I have in a while, and mostly, honestly, just learning how to relax. My life has always been, I've always liked to do a lot of things, and I've always been very busy and have felt like anxious or unproductive when I had downtime. So I've just been learning how to enjoy my mornings and like wake up early and read and run. It's very nice.
There was this time in Vermont when the 4 of us wanted to go on a run. Like Zach, I won't speak for the other guys. I don't run, and so we kind of took this opportunity. Okay, like this will be like our time running. And so what we did is we all pressed play at the same time for 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars, then just listened through to that album as like together, and like tried to like be very emotive while we were listening to the album. And it would be kind of funny because like although we tried to sync it up, some of us were like a split second ahead of others, and so it'd be like whatever, Zach gets to the epic moment in Chunky before I get there, and I know that. It's like, oh, like I'm almost there, just let me catch up. So yeah, that's a fun moment.
Wow. That's band bonding at its finest. So once the EP's out, what is next for Couch? This is the final dreaded question, I guess.
Graduate college.
Pretty much most of us will graduate at the end of the spring, but 3 of us will not. So I mean, we're just gonna keep on making music as we have been, and go on a tour whenever it's safe to do so. Very much looking forward to that. We've literally never played together as a band. Like, we've never played these songs together. Small subsets of us have, but we've never done a full band gig, and I feel like we have a lot of growth and self-discovery to do as a collective artist. Because like, our arrangements are, our studio music is really complicated and layered, and big arrangements. So we have to figure out like how to adapt it to a live setting, and just like lock in playing with each other. So really excited for that.
I think there's going to be a lot of positive growth over the next few years for this group, and I guess in the near future, since obviously who knows when the whole coronavirus is going to fade away, but I think a lot more social aspects are going to grow, and I think we're going to be able to engage more with the fan base and with our followers and whatnot. I think that's something that's kind of grown, especially as the past year or so. So I think we have some cool things in the works, and some ideas that we're planning, and we'll see where that goes as well. Obviously, of course, along with the music, but that's something that's that kind of complements each other.
When you guys can finally play gigs in person, are there any specific songs or specific locations you guys are really excited for?
I mean, definitely Boston. Zach, you want to say something about that?
All you.
I was going to say, I mean, like, with the exception of Jared, like, the reason we are a band is because we all live in the greater Boston area. And so a lot of our like biggest and most like, passionate fans are just like many of our friends from high school and stuff. And I think the opportunity to play for all of them in like June, say, would just be the most fun thing.
I want to add that beginning with Fall Into Place with the group vocals that we had people do, and then Black Berlin with the solo challenge or the ba 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 at the end. The rest of the EP also has great opportunities for audience participation, whether it's woes or different rhythmic stuff people can get engaged with. So I'm just excited to play these at shows and see how people, interact naturally with the parts that they've been listening to.
That's pretty much it on my end. I'm so happy I got to talk to all of you, and I'm so excited for the EP, and I'm sure people watching are also very excited. So yeah, that's it. Woo! Crowd goes wild.